become a member of the Catholic Church.
Love the Catholic Church. It's just the best place to be.
From the studios of EWTN, this is Open Line. In North America, call toll-free 1-800-585-9396. That's 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985. You can also send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
Happy happy Tuesday in the third week of Advent. There we go. Tuesday. I don't know what day it is. It's Tuesday of the third week of Advent here in the beautiful year of 2000, the year of our Lord 2017. And welcome to EWTN's Open Line Tuesday. We talk the life issues on Tuesday, and you'll be pleased to know for the second straight week, pinch hitting is Janet Morana, the executive director of Priests for Life, the co-founder and president, I believe, of the Silent No More Awareness campaign. I really got to get a copy of your bio, Janet. It's a little, it's too much for one human to commit to memory, I'm afraid.
That's okay.
If you want to talk to Janet, the number's 1-800-585-9396. It's toll-free anywhere in North America, 1-800-585-9396. If you're outside the United States and Canada, your number is 1-205-271-2985. That's 1-205-271-2985. You can send us an email, openline@ewtn.com. You can text your question to Janet. Text the letters EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response. Text your first name and your question, message, and data rates may apply. We're also available on social media. If you go to the EWTN Radio YouTube and Facebook pages, you can see the broadcast live and in living color. I'm Jack Williams. Michael McCall produces the program. Your call screener is Mr. Matt Gubensky. And Jeff Burson with the day off, so Michael McCall doubling up on his duties. He's handling your social media endeavors. And our host, as I mentioned, pinch hitting for the second straight week, is Janet Morana. And Janet, I gave a truncated version of your resume, but I think really what all of our listeners want to know is we need a baby update.
Okay, well, the baby update is this. Amazing, amazing, amazing. On December 13th, I don't know how my daughter did this, but natural childbirth, no drugs, and I was in the labor and delivery room. She gave birth to a beautiful, gorgeous, 9-pound, 14-ounce, 21 and a half inches long, adorable, adorable Evelyn Leah Marino. And so I was just amazingly thrilled is to say, to be there. Jack, I mean, can you imagine, first of all, you give birth to your own children, but to stand there and be by the side of your own daughter and watching her give birth to a child. This is the second time I've had that privilege. My other daughter, I have actually 4 grandchildren, but my other daughter, she unfortunately had to have 2 C-sections, so that's Lily Grace and Lucas, and they live up in Staten Island, New York. But this daughter in California, 2 years ago, I was at the birth of her first daughter, Vivian Rose, and then, of course, December 13th, Evelyn decided to finally make it into the world, and I'll tell you, Jack, she looks like she's 1 month old already.
I can imagine. Good. Were there like professional women's basketball scouts in the delivery room that were?
I'm telling you, you have to see the strength of her. And then, of course, I stayed there for a few more days, and I had to fly back to Florida, where our Priest Life headquarters is now. But I have to tell you, this baby was already picking up her head. Wow. At 1-2 days old, looking at Nana.
Yeah,
I was like, and in her arms, you're trying to swaddle her, and here she is pushing out of the swaddle, going, no, I'm too old to swaddle.
Here's
Get
what's
that
interesting. Here's something for you to think about is that she probably wanted to remain in the womb for the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe on December 12th because Our Lady is pregnant in that image.
That's right.
There you go.
Right.
So she had this whole thing under control.
Waited.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. If you'd like to talk to Janet, the number's 1-800-585-9396. It's toll-free anywhere in North America. And I know, Janet, we've got the pain-capable bill is coming up for vote
exactly.
here later this month, or is it next month?
It's actually, Jack, since we spoke last week.
Right.
Now I've gotten a little more intel. Monday, January 15th, as we know, is a federal holiday, Martin Luther King Day.
Right.
But either January 16, 17, or 18, one of those 3 days, from what our best reliable sources are telling us, it will be brought to the floor of the Senate for a vote. Now, this is critical. This is critical for our listeners.
Let's go back to square one for our listeners that may not be familiar with exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, yeah, because last week maybe they missed it, and let's give a review class. So, basically what's happening is we have the pain-capable bill, which protects unborn children from, it's what they call the 20-week ban. Yes, some unborn children can feel pain at 18 weeks, and who knows, even sooner. But scientifically, you can't get any, even on the far left, no scientist will stand up and say, from 20 weeks on, unborn babies can't feel pain. They'll agree with us on that. So that's why we ended up, Jack, with that 20-week. Because people keep questioning that. Well, maybe they feel pain sooner. But, we have to get a benchmark by which the other side can't throw out there. Because then we're going to be debating 20 weeks, 19 weeks, 18 weeks. Look, we're trying to pick children at a certain benchmark. Everyone can agree 20 weeks, unborn children definitely feel pain. So there's not one scientist in the entire world will stand up and say, no, they won't. So that was why we came up with the 20-week ban. Now, that bill, first of all, there's many states have already passed this in their own state, and the House has already passed this bill. So now it's over in the Senate. This is the usual path. Things happen, first the House, then the Senate. And now we're just waiting for it to get to a vote. Now, here's an interesting fact that some of our listeners may not realize. We have 10 Democratic senators, who are up for re-election. But these 10 states were also carried by President Trump in the 2016 election. So these senators, they probably would normally just vote their party line, right? They're going to vote again. They're going to vote down this bill normally. But if we can have a surge of people calling in from these states, meaning not calling but writing, emailing their senators, and here are the states, Jack: Florida, Indiana, Michigan, Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. Okay? Those 10 states, those Democratic senators are going to be up for re-election. They're going to need the votes. Now, they're in states that President Trump carried, so, they might be a little bit in jeopardy. And believe me, we're going to look at how they vote come on this bill, right? Because you can't protect a baby at 20 weeks gestation. That's how far down this abortion train you're going to be. We can pressure these guys. So now's the time to turn up the volume. And our listeners can just go to a simple website, stopabortionnow.org. Again, stopabortionnow.org. We have sample letters there they can sign and email out, and there's information on how to get to your senator in your local office. Because I think I've explained this before, Jack, that if you contact your senator in your local office, he really knows that's a voter from his district, from his state. And so, therefore, you're a voter. And we really, really need to, flood. Now, listen, I know everyone's in the holiday spirit right now, so that's fine, but take the note down. I'm a former teacher, Jack, so, okay, this is your homework assignment come January 2nd, okay? Write the note to yourself, note to self. I'm good, and no matter what state you're in, every state should be contacting their senator because we want the pro-life guys to know you're doing the right thing. Yes, vote to pass this bill. So they need to hear from you. There might be some guys, that are on the fence, so a few phone calls will push them in the right direction. But we want to talk at these 10 guys to say, you know what? If you can vote to pass, to protect these children at 20-week ban, I'm not going to vote for your reelection in November. That's exactly what you need to say to these guys. And I think, Jack, with the Holy Spirit, a lot of prayer and some action, because, it's, what do they say? Ora et labora, work and pray.
That's right.
So, okay, we're going to pray, but now we're also going to act and work. So again, stopabortionnow.org. Write that down. Come January 2nd, flip the switch, and pass it out. Everyone who you've been writing Christmas cards to, I want you to send them a note about this. Email, text, whatever your method of communication is, to your Christmas card list. Like-minded friends and family, get them on this train to do the exact same thing, because I think this is something we can do, Jack, because we know President Trump has already said if this bill comes to his desk, he will sign it into law. We've already had that promise from him.
Good.
So I guess my voice sounds a little excited. A little excited because I see here a window of opportunity, because also, too, Jack, people may not realize, well, come on, when are we going to get the whole enchilada? When are we going to get the whole thing accomplished? Well, first of all, we're standing on solid ground, because in Evangelium Vitae, St. John Paul II clearly stated that passing incremental legislation is morally correct. So we're on solid ground with that. Also, too, I just feel like the education you can give to people, because, a lot of people, Jack, unfortunately think that abortions occur only in the first trimester. I mean, I'm sure you've had that experience, haven't you? Where
no question.
They somehow think, right?
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like an opportunity to raise awareness that, did you realize that abortion is legal in this country through all 9 months of pregnancy, healthy babies, healthy mothers, and we're trying to pass this law. Don't you think if a baby can feel pain, an unborn child they should not be allowed to abort them? And most people, if I went out to the local mall with a microphone, like they do on those news programs, and said, What do you think about this? I think most people would agree with me. Yes, unborn children should be protected once they can feel pain. So we've got a great opportunity here now, Jack, to educate our brothers and sisters. Everyone in your family, has somebody who considers themselves, quote, quote, pro-choice. This is an opportunity to move the needle a little bit, move them down. Partial birth abortion did the same thing for us with a lot of people. I can remember I was teaching, in New York City, and of course, there was me and maybe 2 or 3 other teachers who were really pro-life, and the rest, of course, were pro-abortion. And when it came to this partial birth abortion discussion, now this, of course, was back in the late 90s, I had a couple of teachers who actually, I came in with postcards that were done by National Right to Life to say, I am in favor of passing the partial birth abortion ban. I actually got pro-abortion teachers to sign those postcards, and I mailed it into them. So, this is the way to move the needle. It really is.
Well, I've got a question that I'm going to ask you in just a minute that you probably know the answer to it. I did not, and I was shocked. And I think it'll spur our listeners on to doing just what you have suggested. 1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number. A couple lines open if you'd like to talk to Janet Morana. 1-800-585-9396. EWTN's Open Line Tuesday.
Hi, this is Anna Mitchell, host of the Sunrise Morning Show.
This is Father Spitzer, host of Father Spitzer's Universe.
This is Catherine Seltner, host of EWTN Pro-Life Weekly. Have a blessed Advent from all of us at EWTN Radio.
How about this? Apple TV allows you to instantly stream EWTN to your TV. Get EWTN today. It's easy. All you need is a high-speed internet connection, a TV, and the Apple TV player.
60 on 10 with Monsignor Charles Pope.
The 9th commandment, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. We already discussed in the 6th commandment the problems of sexual sins themselves. What the Lord is looking at here is rooted in this word covet. To covet means to inordinately or inappropriately desire something or someone. And in this case, the Lord is saying to us that we are in no way to covet, to look with lust at another person, particularly our neighbor's wife, but others in general. And therefore, all pornography and things have to go. All entertaining of lustful thoughts has to go. And God can help us by His grace to do that. And therefore, in this commandment, He summons us to take authority over our thought life and our sexual passions. The 9th commandment, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
'Tis the season for Christmas programming. Join EWTN Radio Christmas Eve and Christmas Day for the 48 Hours of Christmas with Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Bob Cratchit applauded.
Let me hear another sound from you, Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your job.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
But Scrooge refused.
The 48 Hours of Christmas, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day on EWTN Radio. This is Open Line on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. If you have a question or comment, call 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985 or send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
Janet Morana of Priests for Life and the Silent No More Awareness Campaign sitting in for Barbara McGuigan today. If you'd like to talk to Janet, the number's 1-800-585-9396, 1-800-585-9396. We're talking about the pain-capable bill that will be coming up for a vote in mid-January in the United States Senate. And Janet, recently I heard something that was shocking to me, and I hope it will motivate our callers to get involved here. Do you know what a legislator's office staff considers a flood of phone calls?
Oh, it's not that many. It's really not that many.
Three.
Yeah, three on one issue. If
right.
they get more
That's
than
right.
three on an issue, they go, ooh,
exactly.
We better tell the senator.
We can make a difference, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is what people don't really understand. I think what's happened is we've become so used to, no one's going to listen, no one pays attention to us, does it really matter? The reason why the left has gotten as far as they've gotten is they just make a louder voice than we do. We do a great job of praying, which we should continue to do, but now we've got to get out there and raise our voices a little bit. If everyone listening to Open Line right now would copy down that website, stopabortionnow.org, and come January 2nd, go there, get the information, and pledge, make it a promise. I'm going to call, email, or write, whatever your easiest means of communication, my senator, and say, I want you to vote yes on this pain-capable bill. We can do this. We can get the job done. Right. We can get this job done.
Give us those 10 states again.
Okay, the 10 states are, come on, everyone, get out your pencils and paper. The teacher is giving the assignment. All those in Florida, Indiana, Michigan, Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. But that doesn't take the responsibility off on the other states either. I think, what happens, Jack, is like, for example, I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I live in, New Jersey. We kind of look at our states like, we know they're going to vote against the bill anyway.
Right.
But guess what? Can you imagine? Look, just think of the Archdiocese of New York alone, right? Can you think about if every person who attends Mass on Sunday in the Archdiocese of New York would do what I'm saying right now and call Senator Chuck Schumer's office or these other, senators, the other senator, and say, we want you to vote yes on this bill. And if they get flooded with phone calls and emails and faxes, that's going to shake them up a little bit. See,
no
right
doubt.
now they think, I've got this secure. I'm going to get reelection. I'm good. I got it. This is a way we can really get them on the record to show how extreme they are on abortion. And, it's just a simple email, phone call, or a letter, whichever, like I said, is your comfortable way of communicating. That could make a huge, huge difference because, as we say, it's a handful that gets the staff of that senator shaking to, they have regular meetings, so everyone understands how this all works in Washington. The senator comes in and meets with his staff, and he'll say, what's the trend on the phone calls coming in this week? What's going on? And they're going to report to the senator. Oh, my goodness, suddenly we're getting a flood of calls of people that want us to vote yes on this pain-capable bill. Senator, I know you were going to vote no, but, maybe we need to rethink this one a little bit because look at all the calls and phone calls and emails and et cetera we're tracking. By the way, every staffer, the person who kind of is in their kind of receiving department there in the office, they have to, Jack, track and mark down every phone call, every email, and every letter that comes in, and they have to state why the person was calling, writing, or emailing. In other words, what issue were they calling about? What was their interest about? So if they see a flood of phone calls of voters wanting to have them vote yes and pass this bill, they're going to take notice. It's going to wake them up. So we could do it.
1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number for your phone calls for Janet Morana, 1-800-585-9396. Our leadoff hitter today is Nikki. She's in Lydford, Texas, listening on Sirius XM Channel 130. Nikki, you're on with Janet Morana.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello, ma'am. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing? You getting ready all for Christmas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What's your question or comment?
I just had a miscarriage, and my midwife told me, or she asked, what are we going to do? Do we need contraceptives? And we said, no, we're going to use the natural family planning. And she said that isn't reliable for the next 2 months. So as a Catholic, I'm wondering, why did she say that, or what is the right thing to do?
Well, first of all, I'm very sorry for your loss. And how far along were you with the miscarriage?
I was 7 weeks.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I don't know the faith of your midwife or their training, but natural family planning is the way to go. I would not take any oral contraceptives or do any of that. You have to realize that the high level of hormones that you're going to ingest, but whether you take the pill or some other device, is harmful to your health, all right? Besides that, there are abortifacients, which as Catholics, it's against our faith, as you know. But if you want to look at it from a health perspective, those birth control pills, for example, have the ingredients basically have been declared cancer-causing things by the World Health Organization, a branch of the United Nations, not the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church really is God's way is the right way, not to use contraception, but in fact, it's the healthier way. So God's way has basically our best interest at heart. Okay? And for her to tell you, you shouldn't get pregnant right away, that's first of all something you should be discussing with your OBGYN. And because my daughter, who I don't know if you listened earlier, who gave birth, before she gave birth to her first child, the year before that, she also had a miscarriage. And the doctor told her, well, ideally if you don't get pregnant for a month or two, and that's just basically to get your body back in tune again, but then you're perfectly fine to get, trying to see if you'll conceive again. Well, for my daughter, she just did the NFP thing, and she was fine. She was absolutely fine. And sure enough, 3 months later, she became pregnant with my first grandchild for her, Vivian Rose. So I would say God's way is the right way. God, the Lord Jesus Christ, has our best interests at heart. So I would not use any contraception, but follow the NFP, getting used to, knowing your cycle and following all that beautiful information that Dr. Hilges and his team at the Pope Paul VI Institute have developed. So that would be my suggestion, okay? And, of course, we'll say some prayers for your unborn child that is now with the Lord, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. That's the beauty of the phone call today, Nikki, is that you will be in the prayers of all of our listeners for your family and for your little one. The number again is 1-800-585-9396. It's toll-free anywhere in North America, 1-800-585-9396. If you're outside the United States and Canada, we'd love to talk to you. Your number is 1-205-271-2985, and we'll put you straight to the front of the line at 1-205-271-2985. You can send us an email, openline@EWTN.com, or text your question to Janet. Text the letters EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response. Text your first name and your question. Message and data rates may apply. Janet, if I can figure out how to operate my computer, I'm going to read you. Well, maybe I'm not going to read you. Yeah, I'm going to read you a question that came in via social media.
Okay.
And,
well, while you're looking for that,
yes.
Jack, I just can't believe that this weekend we have the fourth Sunday of Advent and Christmas Eve all squished into one weekend. So maybe it's a good opportunity to remind our listeners that the USCCB, the bishops of our country, have advised us we should be going to two masses, one for the fourth Sunday of Advent and one for either Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, whichever your family tradition is, right? So it's a good opportunity to remind everyone we have two masses this weekend.
That's exactly right. And I was at Mass this past Sunday, and the pastor in that particular location made it abundantly clear that that it's not 2 for 1. As he said, you cannot come.
I know. It's not, it's not like buy one, get one free.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And he made that abundantly clear. We've got plenty of time.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Jack, when we analyze these things, I always say that, at a time of Christmas, we're worried about hustling around, getting presents, doing this, doing that, and doing every other thing. Baking, cooking, blah, blah. We should give time to the Lord, right?
Absolutely. 1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number. EWTN's open line Tuesday. Janet Morana sitting in for Barbara McGuigan.
With a dynamic new look, Life on the Rock with Father Mark and the Franciscan Missionaries, loaded with compelling interviews, authoritative insights, and much more. Their mission? To engage Catholics in the new evangelization. The all-new Life on the Rock, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern on EWTN TV. Life on the Rock.
Facebook doing what it can to address the important issue of suicide. Hi, I'm Teresa Tomeo, host of Catholic Connection, with another Media Minute here on EWTN. The social media giant says it's now using artificial intelligence technology that will scan, it says, all posts for patterns of suicidal thoughts. It says when it detects those thoughts, it will send mental health resources to the user who is at risk or their friends, or it will contact first responders. Facebook says by using AI to flag posts that could be danger signs to human moderators instead of waiting for user reports, it could cut down on how long it takes to actually send help to those in need. I'm Teresa Tomeo with another Media Minute here on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Hi, this is Doug Heck. I'm EWTN's President and Chief Operating Officer, also host of EWTN's Bookmark. This Advent, I look forward to Christmas coming. It's a wonderful time of the year for our entire EWTN family, but it's also a tough time for many people. Family issues and problems, and we pray together that we all stay strong in the faith and wait for the arrival of our Lord once again incarnate on Christmas.
This is Open Line on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. If you have a question or comment, call 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985 or send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
1-800-585-9396. Next up for us is Kathy. She is in Grand Island, Nebraska, listening to EWTN on Spirit Catholic Radio. Kathy, you're on with Janet Morana.
Hi,
Kathy. Hi.
I am a frequent emailer and caller and everything to my legislators. You mentioned a few minutes ago that they have to log all of the correspondence. Is there a way we could actually see when we have sent, I know, hundreds of emails to them, what they actually received in terms of yays or nays when they finally voted?
They're probably not going to share. That's kind of like their office, like the way they operate their office. Each is slightly different. But we do know by the good pro-lifers, both people in the House and the Senate, who talk to us, who tell us how it really works, who knows what their colleagues do. Say, look, this is a standard procedure that we have to log in so we know what's going on with our voters, with our constituents. So, but to get a report of what's coming in, that's more difficult. They're not going to share that with us unless you go to visit, for example, Congressman Chris Smith from New Jersey has been in the House for 25 years, and if I were to call Congressman Smith and say, hey, how's that going on that issue, he would be very honest. He would tell us. But the average person to call and ask that information, they're not going to share it with you. Okay? If that helps.
I do this
answer. But see, we do know what you're doing does have an impact. They do pay attention to it. That's the important fact. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
God
Kathy.
bless. Merry
Appreciate the phone
Christmas.
call. We hope you have a blessed rest of the Advent season. The number's 1-800-585-9396. Next up is Mark. He's in Jacksonville, Florida, listening on Queen of Peace Radio. Mark, you're on with Janet Morana.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Hi, Janet. How you doing?
Listen, I'm doing wonderful now that I've moved out of New Jersey and New York, and I'm in Florida, so I love your state. The weather is ideal here.
Oh, good. What part of Florida?
Well, I bought a home in Merritt Island, Florida, and Priest for Life has now moved our headquarters to Titusville, Florida. We're now there in the building in Titusville, Florida, so you'll have to drive. If you're ever coming down this way, come and visit us, okay?
Well, welcome, Priest for Life. We're glad you're in Florida.
Well, thank you.
I just wanted to encourage the lady who called who had a miscarriage, and I understand exactly how I hope I can understand exactly how she feels. My wife and I had a miscarriage at 5 weeks, and we were trying using natural family planning, and I don't know if this helps or not, but the very next cycle, we were trying, and we have our oldest girl, and she's wonderful child, and everything worked out wonderfully. So I wanted to pass that on if it is of any value to that previous caller, and I pray for her.
Oh, I'm sure it is, Mark, and like I gave the example, the same thing happened to my daughter, just like what you're describing. She had that miscarriage, and a couple of months later, the next cycle or so, there they conceived their first child. So, the Lord is good and kind, and it will work out. And if we stick with Him and stick with not being tempted, because unfortunately too many doctors out there are pushing contraception, down the throats of our women. And so we have to be strong and say, no, God's way is the right way. So your testimony, adding to what I said, is wonderful, and God bless you, and thank you for calling, all right?
All right. God bless you.
God bless you, Mark.
I want to see you in Titusville, so come down for a visit soon, okay? Call my office to make sure I'm not on the road so I can visit with you.
I'll go to the website. I'll be down in a couple months.
Okay, God bless.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. We appreciate the phone call. That opens up a line for you at 1-800-585-9396. And I would remind our listeners to keep Nikki, who called us earlier with that miscarriage information, keep her and her family in our prayers, please. Next up is Sean. He's in Marlborough, Massachusetts, listening on Emmanuel Radio. Blessed Advent, Sean. What's your question for Janet Morana?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First of all, I would like to also add some words of encouragement to Nikki. My wife and I, when we first started natural childbirth procedures, she had 5 miscarriages.
Oh.
And then miraculously, after 8 years, we had our beautiful daughter.
Oh,
so never give up hope, never stop trying, and let the body heal a little bit, and I think you're all set to go.
Right.
What's your question today, Sean?
My other question is, at what point is a soul assigned to an egg and a sperm?
Right, and that's at conception. Our faith tells us that at the moment the sperm and egg unite, God infuses soul at that very moment. And, Jack, and for the caller, an interesting fact, one time, Father Pavone was dialoguing with one of the late-term abortionists, Dr. Warren Hearn, who actually, he was the one who wrote a textbook on how to do the abortion procedure, even in late-term abortion. And Father Pavone was speaking with him, and he was challenging, just like kind of what you're asking. And this abortionist came back and said to Father, in other words, instead of him talking about medicine, instead he goes back to religion, and he said to Father Pavone, well, I don't know when the child receives a soul, so therefore it's okay to do an abortion. And so Father said, excuse me, but the child receives its soul from the minute that sperm and egg unite. That's the moment that the Lord, God, gives that child its soul. So the soul is there. You're aborting a child, body and soul. So I hope that answers your question, okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. We appreciate the phone call. Next stop for us is Wall Township, New Jersey. Ann is in Wall Township, listening on the EWTN app. Ann, you're on with Janet Morana.
Hi, Ann. Blessed Advent and soon to be Merry Christmas.
Yes, right. I had a comment that I wanted to share.
Sure.
I had a conversation with my brother. I'm one of 5 children. I'm the only conservative and all the other liberals. So last night, my oldest brother and I were having a conversation, and somehow we got onto the Alabama election, and I said something about Doug Jones being in favor of the abortion at 30 weeks of pregnancy, and he just said, well, what I think about abortion is that it's between a woman, a doctor, and God. And I kind of said, well, I don't know. I said, it's just wrong, So I was praying this morning, and God put it on my heart to tell my brother that it's going to be brought up to all of us on our judgment day. So it goes along with your making the phone calls that, he's going to say, what did you ever do to help the innocent unborn? And what are we going to have to say for ourselves? Because then he's going to say, I needed you to be my voice and you stayed silent. And I just, I thought that was such a, important message. So I just called my brother and I gave him that message, and then I turned the radio on and you were talking about this topic. I said, listen to that.
The Holy Spirit is moving. The Holy Spirit is definitely moving. And, Jack, and for our caller, this brings me to mind that, the holidays also bring about where we sit around the table, the holiday table there, the Christmas table, with people in our family who have opposite views. They don't embrace Catholicism in its entirety, right? Some of our family members are cafeteria Catholics, some have drifted away from the faith. And kind of when these topics come up over the dinner table, it can be somewhat disturbing, wouldn't you say? I mean, I had the same experience just recently. I was out in California, I call it the left coast, with my daughter and her husband, and unfortunately, they are more liberal. They go to church, but they're not in favor of abortion, yet they support a lot of the liberal thinking and agenda. And I had the same experience, basically, that they were saying to me, like, well, it looks like your side took a hit with that Alabama loss. I was cringing, going, I'm here for the birth of my grandchild, not to talk politics, And I said, well, it's unfortunate, I said, because, he was a good man, and, unfortunately he lost. And I said, well, why don't we just change the subject right now? Because we know we disagree on this item, and I'm not going to convince you. I said, I could give you a whole speech right now. I could stand here and give you a talk in the living room. But, let's just move on right now. So it is difficult, though, when we have family members who are on the opposite side. But but we still have to be a good witness. And that's what happens to me with my family and friends who are not where they should be. They know where I am. And it's funny because some of them, though, still ask me lots and lots of questions. And I just give them the truth and pray and hope that one day they'll accept it,
And God gives us, He lets us know in His own way what He wants us to do as part of the plan. So.
Yeah, but you're correct in that we're all called to be witnesses to the truth. And when those opportunities arise, we have to speak the truth, but in kindness. not confrontationally, nothing's accomplished by yelling, screaming, and getting into an argument. But the truth in kindness is what we have to be focused on.
Thank you, Ann. We appreciate the phone call. We all are called to be evangelists, and sometimes it's just the simplest things that can make a huge difference, like suggesting a resource to someone, and a great resource that's available to anybody is Church Pop. If you go to churchpop.com, it is a very contemporary website that features online Christian content that's fun and inspiring every single day. All sorts of things from little short videos to infographics that will explain certain topics, and it's some of it is irreverent, some of it is very serious, and some of it's very deeply spiritual, but it's all in a very nice package. You can find all of it at churchpop.com. Log on today to churchpop.com. Next stop for us is Dayton, Ohio. Debbie is in Dayton, listening on St. Gabriel Radio. Debbie, you're on with Janet Morana.
Hi, Janet. This is Debbie Newport from Dayton, Ohio. With
I'm sorry, what did you say,
New
from
Life
Dayton?
Center. Yeah.
Oh, Debbie Newport, right?
Yes.
Hi,
how
you doing?
First of all, blessed Advent and congratulations on your newest grandbaby. We're getting our 9th one December 29th. So
God bless you
keep
too.
that in prayers.
I mean, aren't grandbabies the best? I call them grand treasures, right? They're grand treasures, aren't they?
I call our treasures. I wanted to ask you to address, I know a lot of us pro-life activists, there's a, not contention, but disagreement on when we approach legislation. They're the all or nothing, and they see, little steps as not being successful versus the incremental thinking, taking small steps toward, of course, all of us want to see abortion not to be legal. So what is the benefit of the incremental approach versus the all-or-nothing approach?
Right. Well, with the incremental approach, Debbie, first of all, unborn children will be saved. We know this. If a ban happens, you can just look at the testimonies on our silentnomore.com website, abortiontestimony.com, and if you click on late term or third trimester abortion, et cetera, second trimester, the children that will be saved by this legislation are right there. Read the testimonies of these women who went down that road. They were told by their doctor they use the word terminate, but had they been given better advice, they would have kept that pregnancy and brought it to birth. And so we know there is definite evidence that unborn children's lives will be saved. And, if we would do all this work and only one child is saved, God will look at us and say, well done, good and faithful servant, because we've saved one of his children. So that right there is worth it. But we know it will be countless children that will be saved. We know this, first of all, by the states that have already passed this legislation, that abortion numbers have gone down in those late months. So we know it's successful. We have the evidence, the proof. We know it's going to happen. But as Catholics, as I said earlier in the program, we have the best evidence of all, because St. John Paul II gave us our marching orders about incremental legislation in his beautiful encyclical Evangelium Vitae. So this is not just some of us saying like, oh, this is a good direction to go in, but Pope John Paul II, St. John Paul II, when he did that encyclical all the way back in 1995, he clearly said it was permissible to support incremental steps in your country, because he wrote this for the whole world, in your country, to take steps to protect the unborn. So I think we're standing on solid ground, and the argument is good to go forward with this. And as I said earlier, just to educate some of our family and friends who still take that pro-choice position, I think most of them, if you told them an unborn child could feel pain, would they still be in favor of aborting that child? I think the answer would be no.
Well, I agree with you, and I'm all for the incremental approach because it's moving us closer and closer to where I think what we really need is a human life amendment.
Exactly. But until we can get enough votes, and this is where, elections have consequences, until we can get enough votes to do that, then we've got to take this approach. And thanks be to God, see, we've got a window right now. President Trump has vowed and promised, and so far he's kept all his promises. All right, he's kept them. Absolutely. He's promised, put a pro-life bill on my desk, I will sign it into law. So we've got to give him something to do. We've got to get that bill up to his desk because he's gonna sign it into law. So it is a first step. It's a great step. Huh?
Yeah. I said I'll be
sorry,
making
Debbie, what
my
did you say?
calls. I said I'll be making my calls and encouraging others to do the same.
Exactly. You know, Debbie, like I said, everyone listening should use their Christmas card list. Call all your friends and family on your Christmas card list, right?
Good idea. Absolutely. Okay,
right.
Janet, you have a wonderful Advent and a blessed Christmas.
Same to you and your family. Hey, I look forward to seeing you maybe in the spring at the Heartbeat International Conference out in April, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in April. I'm debating, but I may very well see you in Florida, so...
Hey, come on down, Titusville, Florida. I'd love to have you, especially in the winter up there in Ohio, okay?
All right, sounds good. Okay.
Okay, God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless you, Debbie. We appreciate the phone call. We had a caller who called in. Janet would like for you to give that website once again regarding contacting your senators.
Sure. It's just go to stopabortionnow.org. Again, stopabortionnow.org. There'll be sample letters there, and they can find out exactly how to contact your senator. All the information is up there on that webpage. And also, by the way, Jack, they can keep going to that webpage, stopabortionnow.com, because as we have these battles, as months go on, we always at Priest for Life post the most current information up there about action alerts and action steps and what you need to do to kind of keep the ball rolling down the court in our direction. So again, stopabortionnow.org.
1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number. Still time for your phone calls. You know, Debbie said that she's got a grandchild on the way December 29th. That's one day after the Feast of the Holy Innocents on December 28th. And you've got some interesting information about, you know, abortion's been around for a long time. A lot of people don't realize that. And we've had very abortion-like things that have happened in history. And you've got a little correlation between that feast and abortion.
Exactly. And, you know, it's on the Feast of the Holy Innocents that, you know, we should really trying to get to Mass, or if you can't get to Mass, at least try to spend some quiet time in prayer on that day. You know, the Feast of the Holy Innocents goes back centuries, but really, the Holy Innocents, we should be praying to all those children. Do you realize, I mean, Jack, over 50 million children have been killed just in our country alone, and that's not counting worldwide. Those are truly the Holy Innocents, and that's not counting all the children who have been aborted because of our abortifacient drugs, RU-486, morning after pill. I mean, if we could actually count up the real numbers, Jack, it's staggering. And so maybe on this Feast of the Holy Innocents, because, you know, the blood of all these children here in America, they're on our hands. We're responsible. So maybe we need to turn to the Lord that day and ask for forgiveness. What could have I done? Is there something more I should be doing in the coming year? Can I make a promise in 2018 to get more involved, to help end the bloodshed? Because the blood of these children is crying out in our land. And what better way than on the Feast of the Holy Innocents to turn to the Lord in prayer and ask for His mercy and forgiveness on our nation, for the shedding of this innocent blood.
We are in a life and death struggle, are we not?
Yes, we are. Absolutely. So that's a good day, you know, to really, for ourselves, it's kind of like an examination of conscience. Even I do it. You know, people say, oh, well, you're so involved, Janet. Well, maybe I could be doing more, too. And what little things have I not done that I could have been doing? It's a good day to step back and do a pro-life examination of conscience, so to speak, and say, Lord, give me the grace in 2018 to do more to save these innocent children of ours. That every day, thousands are being slaughtered right here in America. What more can I do just to save one child? Save one for the Lord. And I'm sure many graces will flow from that.
1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number. You know, as we move through the third week of Advent, we'll have, before you know it, the fourth week of Advent will start on Sunday, and the next thing you know, it's, there really is no fourth week of Advent this year. There's a fourth Sunday of Advent, but there's no fourth week Sunday, of Advent. Yes. And we always worry about shipping. We always worry about these Christmas gifts, but really there's kind of an easy way that might be very beneficial for some people for a Christmas gift. There's a little ebook out there that might really be beneficial for some folks to pass along to their loved ones.
Well, yeah, Father Pavone wrote a really nice ebook called Christmas for the Unborn, and you could just go to christmasfortheunborn.com and download it, and it's a beautiful book, and it's just a nice way to reflect and read during this Christmas season about our focus on, of course, thinking of Mary as being a young girl. She was young, an unexpected pregnancy here, and she said yes to life. And, Jesus was an unborn child too. And so we should make those connections and pray, during this Christmas season for the unborn.
Talk a little bit about your book and also about the new one that's going to be coming out shortly.
Well, of course, Jack, I wrote several years ago, actually in 2015. I was on Bookmark with Doug Keck. It's available in the religious catalog called Recall Abortion. And the concept of recall abortion is just simply that if any product in America failed women, like abortion does, it would be off the market. So what I do in this book, Jack, is I make the case using the testimonies of the women who have experienced abortion and have gone through healing, and medical experts to show that there's never, ever a reason. Always bad for the baby, but I prove in recall abortion it's always bad for the baby too. And I even take on all the hard issues like life for the mother, fetal anomaly, rape and incest. And there's a full chapter, which everyone talks about the pill all the time. I deal with the pill, IVF. It's really the whole package to show why all these things are bad for women's health and why really God's way is the right way with NFP. And of course, I have a brand new book coming out in January, and probably will be available eventually. We have to go through the process, but at the EWTN Religious Catalog. But it's called Shockwaves, and that book really shows that beyond the mother, the father, and of course the unborn child being destroyed from abortion, that it affects the grandparents, future siblings, other family members. It impacts all of society. And again, there's powerful testimonies, medical experts in that book too. So I really wrote these tools really to help people, first of all, who are in the pro-life movement, to give them the tools they have to have those conversations with their families and friends, and also to help other people to really realize the impact abortion might have had on them. So many people can talk about, oh, yeah, my sister had the abortion. Well, you lost a niece or nephew, and then your children don't have that little cousin to play with. So abortion really, Jack, it's permeated our entire society, and that's what I show in Shockwaves.
And it's really a war on women, is it not?
It is.
It's the most insidious weapon in the ultimate war on women.
It really is. It really is. And that's why I hope with these two books, I'm empowering our listeners with the information they need to have those good conversations to convert hearts and minds. Because I tell everybody all the time, don't worry about everyone out there in the whole universe. People always, I think, get discouraged. I say to them, work within your circle of influence, the people you come in contact. It's kind of like a funny story, Jack, but when I go to, and the women will appreciate this, to the nail salon or the hair salon, and everyone knows who I am, basically. Here comes the Catholic kid, the pro-life girl. But you'd be surprised that sometimes the questions that they'll come up and ask me. Like one time, the hairdresser said to me, one of the girls in the salon, she just got engaged. She's considering taking the pill, but she wants to talk to you. Can you step in the back and have a conversation with her? And I was like, sure I can. And here I empowered her with the information. She wasn't even, Catholic, but I said, look how bad this will be for your health. And I gave her all the facts, all the information, and she ended up thanking me and said, you know what, I'm not going to take the pill now. I'm going to look into this NFP stuff. Even though I'm not Catholic, sounds good to me. So, you never know what opportunities can be put in front of you. And I always say, it's each one, reach one at a time, and we will change our world. We really will.
Janet, thanks for your time and stepping in at last minute notice again. We really appreciate it.
Okay, God bless, and blessed Advent, and Merry Christmas to all.
You can find Janet at priestforlife.org. On behalf of our host, Janet Morana, our producer, Michael McCall, our social media maven, Michael McCall, and our call screener, Mr. Matt Kubensky, I'm Jack Williams. Back at it tomorrow. Father Mitch is in the house. Until then, God bless.